Hey guys, how's it going? So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about why I think Aurora is a good long-term investment. So this is a happy Thanksgiving. I'm gonna release this at midnight. I'm having a sale on for my course. If you type in enroll course, type in add coupon, type in Black Friday, apply, and you get 15% discount. So no, let's begin. So I watched Rock. I just wanted to bring something up. I watched the movie today called Wreck-It Ralph. Yes, Wreck-It Ralph is a kids movie, but it's very entertaining. I had a lot of good laughs from this. So if you're bored and want something amusing to watch, check out Wreck-It Ralph. It's pretty good. I would recommend it. I mean, the Metacritic score is pretty good, 71, and user score is 66, 6.6. I think it deserves slightly higher user score, but I would give it 7.5. So that's what I think. I think it's a pretty funny movie. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of good laughs, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. And it's also pretty cool how they mix the internet and Wreck-It Ralph and the gaming world. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I don't know. It's a very unique movie. I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people would. So if you're bored and have nothing to do, check it out. So I came up with a new word, kata. Canopy, Aurora, Tilray, Afria. Just like Fang, with Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. I'm calling this Kata, Canopy, Aurora, Tilray, Afria. I thought it was funny. Tell me if you think it's retarded, please comment down below and tell me it's retarded. I just thought it was funny. I was thinking of like Fang, and then I was thinking maybe I could do something for like the weed industry, and I came up with Kata, and I thought it was kind of funny. And I just thought I'd share it. So let's see what Kata is doing. Let's go. Canopy after hours. The market is closed. It's 7:40 p.m. right now, and the stock is up 41 cents. Aurora. So it's looking good tomorrow, but the market is closed tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. So it might reflect. This might get reflected in the Canadian market tomorrow because it's already been pre-traded after hours. So Aurora is also up like 6 cents after hours too. So Aurora's doing pretty good. Tilray slightly down, but you know, it doesn't matter if it's down or up. It's just overinflated, like Netflix. You know, Netflix is extremely overvalued. If you look at the fundamental, it makes no sense. But Tilray is the exact same as Netflix right now. Afria, the one that did not gain anything today, but after hours they gained not bad with 17 cents. So I mean, in the morning it had a nice run, and then it just declined throughout the day. So I don't know what to make of it. The stock market is the stock market. Sometimes you just don't make sense out of it. So I'm gonna let Cam Batley explain why Aurora is such a good investment, and I'll interfere in certain points of the video. So let's begin.
Welcome back, everybody. You won't believe who's here. It's Cam Batley, CCO of Aurora Cannabis, joining us for the, I don't know, 256th time?
It's been a few times.
It's been a few times. Cam, you just got back from Las Vegas.
Did I? Yes.
Las Vegas,
yes,
Sin City.
Sin City. Yeah,
Sin
and we
City.
Didn't commit a lot of sins, though. It was basically coffee and Red Bull, the whole
Really?
thing. Oh, there's a lot of business to be done.
There were some interesting news items about, you know, some Aurora items.
Well, tell me what's on your mind.
Well, I mean, the interesting sort of story in the Financial Post was, you know, a criticism, I would say, of CEO Terry Booth's discourse during his panel presentation at the conference.
So seriously, if people don't know by now that Terry is an Alberta entrepreneur, he's not a banker, he's not a lawyer, he's an Alberta entrepreneur, and he's a straight shooter, I don't think they should really be surprised.
Right.
So no, you know, the other thing to bear in mind is, look, we were in the kind of atmosphere that has froth and fun. It's a casual atmosphere at the MJ Biz conference. This is where, you know, people come together with different perspectives and ideas and positions. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what makes the whole conference a success. And the other thing is, Terry spoke very specifically about what, for example, Ontario has done right in terms of the new government, the Ford government, came in and very decisively said, the previous vision for retail in Ontario was a government monopoly. We don't think that's the way to go. We're going to do something different. So they shifted gears, and they did it fast, and they did it decisively. And I think you'll find that Terry said some very positive things about that.
He did. He did. And we actually looked at the comments in the Financial Post and said, well, the bottom line here is this is a guy who's created so much wealth for so many people that if he wants
and fast too.
And if he wants to cuss and swear, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
I think most people have heard these words before.
That's right. And
but that is the point too. Look, this is the guy with the vision, who in less than 3 years from the sale of our first gram of medical cannabis has taken us from the 24th company to get licensed to delivering last week, and I hope we can talk about this. The highest revenue number with that the industry has ever seen. So
let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about our earnings.
Okay, so you reported earnings of $30 million.
Yeah, well, actually better than that, about 30 million. But on a pro forma basis, if we had wrapped in all 3 months of MedRelief, it actually would have been even better, about 35.8 million, and that is by far the most powerful revenue quarter that any cannabis company has delivered thus far, and we're very proud of that.
Sure. The other item in your financials that intrigued me was the one-time win of $85 million from, what was that?
Oh, from appreciation in our capital investments. So these are our marketable securities.
Oh, so you didn't sell a block of stock?
We didn't sell that much, no.
Okay.
So what we've done with our accounting is acknowledge the fact that we've made strategic investments in certain companies, and those investments have appreciated. So our shareholders have done well, the company's done well, and our partners have done well. And so that's what you're seeing reflected there. And the rest of it, across the board, I was very, very proud of the way the company delivered, particularly on a logistical level, because, everybody had a lot of questions as to how licensed producers were going to be able to, hit the ground running or not. Upon the launch of consumer legalization. There were so many SKUs, and we had 250 SKUs that we had to ship to 13 or 12 different jurisdictions. I think we got 12 of 13 jurisdictions in the country, covering 98% of the population.
Right. You were 1/3 of the sales across Canada.
No, we can't say that because we don't have those kind of metrics. What we did report in our earnings was Ontario, because Ontario's website, the Ontario Cannabis Store website, did provide some early insights. And what we were able to measure is that we had about 30% of the sales in Ontario upon the launch of consumer legalization, and also did exceedingly well in British Columbia, where we had the top four selling brands and products in British Columbia, and 5 of the top 10. So I think we impressed out of the gate. I think we did very, very well, and I want to give a lot of credit to our logistics and operations team, because that's a very complex operation. They had to carry it out in a very short period of time, and they did it near flawlessly, and I'm very, very pleased.
Interesting. So let's talk a bit about what's happening at Aurora Sky. I mean, we visited you recently. We're going to release a video very shortly on that visit, and it was very impressive. I'm curious
it's a cool
as
facility,
to,
isn't it?
Yeah, has it started to actually pump out product now that's matured and dried and shipping into the market?
Yes, it has.
Let me ask you,
we got our sales license on October 17th,
right?
Or we announced it then.
Right.
So we announced that on the day of consumer legalization.
Right. So here's the conundrum I have, is that we've got all these companies that are producing at maximum capacity, and I visited most of these things with warehouses full of product ready to go, yet across the country, everybody's out.
I know, and that puzzles us.
Where'd the weed go?
I know, that puzzles us too, because we kept hearing the same thing, that there were some companies that said that they were stockpiling product for up to or even over a year, and then it didn't seem to materialize when it was needed up upon the launch. Now maybe companies are holding some back and they're going to be shipping it over a different period of time. I don't have insight into that, but we were puzzled by that outcome as well. Because
is it conceivable that perhaps the shelf life of cannabis, it's not something, even though you vacuum pack it, it's not going to be in a condition that you would qualify as premium dried flower 1 year after it's been harvested and packaged?
I would put it this way. I would not want us sending products to the retail markets that had been stockpiled for too long.
Well, we've been smoking a lot of your product around here. Everybody's very...
Well, thank you very much for that.
We can't keep it in stock either, particularly
I also have to say that I really like Aurora products too, especially their pre-rolls. Their pre-rolls are really good. Like, I had some friends who tested out some of their pre-rolls, and they were so messed up, and all they did was take 2 puffs of the joint, and they were just like so out of it. So their pre-rolls are freaking strong. I've never really experienced I don't know what they put in their pre-rolls, but holy crap. I wish I had more access to those pre-rolls. They never seem to be in stock. It pisses me off. But hopefully soon, hopefully sometime in December, those pre-rolls come back. I mean, they won't last very long. They'll just fly off the shelf as soon as they come back, but I still can't wait until those pre-rolls come back because they were very good. I liked them a lot. And next time I see them, I'll buy like 5. So never run out. Well, that's not true. I'll run out when the 5 pre-roll packs go away. But I'm definitely going to be loading up on pre-rolls the next time I see them because I really like their pre-rolls. Anyways, let's keep going.
Ed is very fond of Aurora's products.
So you've been satisfied customers?
Well, I've been relatively happy, yes.
Okay.
More happy than normal.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I have no immediate response to that.
Okay, so then now what are the big... So everybody's looking at these earnings that have come out since since November 1st.
Especially our stellar earnings.
Well, your stellar earnings, but they're underwhelming as a whole. I mean, if you look at the valuations relative to the earnings at this point, and there are some easy answers here that we have to bring to light.
Justifying valuations?
Yeah, justifying valuations, especially in the terms of if you're trying to use a earnings multiple valuation technique, it doesn't work.
No, we're not a bank.
Right.
We're not a mature industry that's been around for 20 or 40 or 50 or 100 years. Right?
Sure. So that has catalyzed a revaluation of the whole sector to the downside by, call it 30% since the onset of the weakness in the S&P and the broader markets globally.
I question that. Is it a revaluation or is it just one of the pullbacks that we see? Look, we've been watching this sector since it was born 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Right.
And one of the things that thus far has characterized the cannabis sector is a lot of volatility. Mm-hmm. So big run-ups and then pullbacks, run-ups and then pullbacks. And we've seen that as a constant pattern. I do find that we have to reassure people who haven't been in it for that many cycles of ups and downs that this seems to be the nature right now. And of course, we understand the reasons why. You and I have discussed many times that we will get to a point very soon, I would say within, let's say 18 months at the outside, where we're going to be valuing cannabis companies based on their fundamentals, right? Based on their revenues and their EBITDA. We can't do that yet, so people are projecting forward. And they're valuing the leading companies like us and Canopy and a few others based on an estimate of multiple on future earnings, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what's happening, and it's realistic. It's realistic because you can't use the traditional measures, the traditional metrics of fundamentals in an industry that is not just nascent, but also growing incredibly fast. And one measure of that is take a look at what happened in our earnings in our year over year. On a pro forma basis, our earnings were up, or our revenues were up more than 300%. Some of that came from organic growth. Some of that came from the addition of Canamed. Some of that came from the addition of MedRelief and Anandia and some of our other companies. But the bottom line is these leading companies in this sector, Aurora included, definitely, are growing incredibly fast. And we know where we're going. And so the projections are not pulled out of anybody's hindquarters. They're coming from the metric that we're using right now of funded capacity. So if we know what the funded capacity is today, and in 12 months' time, and in 18 months' time, you can then calculate a rough estimate as to what the top-line revenues for the leading companies are going to be. And with Aurora and Canopy, for example, both companies have more than 500,000 kilograms or 500 million grams of funded capacity, which suggests that by early 2020, that's going to be the annual run rate of production, of sales, and therefore, with a number in front of that, whatever number you choose, in front of 500 million, that'll give you an idea as to what the top-line revenues will be. So it's not perfect.
So let's do some math. 500 million grams. let's just say they got, rec market numbers, just you mix everything up. Okay, let's just give them $6. $6 times 6. $3 billion. So if they sell everything for $6, that's $3 billion in 1 year. That's a lot of money. That's like $750 million per quarter. So if Aurora is making $750 million per quarter, right now their stock price would be undervalued. At least it's just my opinion. I think it could be a lot higher than $750 because, it could be 500. There's oils and there's a lot of other products. But 500 million, let's say like $8, it's $4 billion. So in theory, Aurora could make $4 billion. So $1 billion per quarter in 18 months. So by the time Aurora Sun is up, Aurora Nordic is up, they'll be generating about $1 billion per quarter. That is a lot of money. At an $8 billion market cap, I think they're undervalued. So long term, like in the next, I guess, year, Aurora is considered undervalued. I mean, unless something horribly goes wrong, Aurora is undervalued right now, in my opinion. So let's just begin. Let's keep going.
It is a little rough. It is early days, but boy, this industry has been validated as real, legitimate, and long-term.
Sure. What would you say to the idea that much funded capacity might represent overcapacity and thus induce a price competition in the price of the cannabis itself, rendering the projected margins of companies like Aurora and Canopy a little bit less than accurate?
I always really love your compound questions, but I'm going to stick with that.
This is how I convince people that I know what I'm talking about.
And you do, you certainly do. So I'm going to track that. So there's two answers to your question. The first is 500,000 kilograms per year overcapacity, and the answer to that is an emphatic no. And here's the reason why. I said this before, but the central fact of the global cannabis sector is a massive excess of demand over supply for legal regulated cannabis. Legal regulated cannabis. There's no shortage of cannabis in the world, obviously, there never has been. But legal regulated cannabis is in short supply. In even more short supply is legal regulated cannabis that comes out of facilities that meet the standard of European Union Good Manufacturing Practices, EU GMP. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that bodes well for us because we have 2 of the 6 facilities that are certified as EU GMP, and our European distributor, formerly Badanios, now Aurora Deutschland, is also EU GMP certified. So big picture, there's massive demand and not even close to enough supply, and there won't be for years and years and years, long time. The second thing is, I think, more specific to Canada, and you're saying, will we end up with a price competition situation where there's a lot of supply in Canada and pressure on margins? If that's the case, we've planned for that. That is a specific scenario that we've planned for with Terry, with our CFO, Glenn Ibbett. And the nice thing is, we're low-cost producers. We're already among the lowest cost producers in the industry. And with our Sky class facilities coming online, starting with Aurora Sky, which is up and running at Edmonton International Airport, we're going to be producing a lot of cannabis at under $1 a gram. We think well under $1 a gram. Now, if you've got the ability to produce for such low cost, and you're highly recognized for the quality of your products, and you're producing premium products that are obviously in demand, then you're not looking at any problems in the domestic market, and you're certainly not looking at any challenges in the international markets where demand is going to exceed supply for a long time to come. That's a long-winded answer.
Compound answer to a compound question.
Sorry.
I'm shocked. No, that's great. Okay, so 500,000 kilograms per year. Mm-hmm. You're involved right now in 40 clinical trials.
40 that we've either completed or are currently underway, plus 7 preclinical studies that we have underway. So our science program is very strong. I actually would venture to say it's the strongest in the world, because we've added Aurora, strong in science, to Canamed, strong in science, MedRelief, strong in science, and then Anandia Labs. And I don't know that there's a deep cannabis science company in the world. Remember, that was co-founded by Dr. Jonathan Page, who is now last week was appointed our chief science officer,
right.
And he led the team that was the first to sequence the cannabis genome. So the level of science underlying our work has increased dramatically over the last 12 months. We have more than 40 PhDs and Masters of Science working in the company right now. The level of research, you indicated the number of studies either completed or underway, is very significant. And it's happening not just in Canada, but in jurisdictions around the world. And we intend to expand on that further in 2019. And the level of new product development, which is also tied into the science. I should have mentioned Dr. Kelly Nareen, who's also a PhD, and she's our head of research. She works closely with Dr. Shane Morris, one of our other PhDs. We have what I call a PhD row.
Right.
And he heads up our new product development. He's the one who, together with his team, was responsible for launching the first vape cartridge in the Canadian medical system. We call it Aurora Cloud. And this is
That's appropriate.
Isn't it? But it's actually, I'm sorry to tell you, or maybe not, it's a CBD cartridge.
Oh, no, that's right up my alley.
I know. So it's a very, very elegant and in-demand product, and it's a vape cartridge that fits in one of the standard gauges to the batteries that people can buy in many places. And it's a 55% concentration of CBD. And as soon as we launched it, it just absolutely flew off the shelves.
Okay. At this point, is Aurora finding itself in a position where it's able to supply more cannabis than it can produce, or is it the opposite, that you're building up a surplus of cannabis globally?
Are we able to supply more cannabis than we can produce? We're ramping up. There's no question. So
at this point, though, you're still finding that everything you produce is swept off the shelves by demand.
Yeah, well, and if you think about that, that's pretty much always going to be the case. We're not going to be putting cannabis on shelves to get aged, as we.
So everything Aurora is putting on the shelves is flying off the shelves. So they're like, they're selling everything like I predicted. I said that Aurora would sell out everything they have, and it happens. So, I mean, the only reason why I'm bearish on the stock, on Aurora stock, is because we might be in a market crash. And I don't want to have all my money in the market when we have that crash. So I've been selling off a little bit of Aurora, a little bit of Canopy, just in case we have a crash and I can buy in those companies at an evaluation that is ridiculous. But let's say if the market crash and Aurora and Canopy don't tank with the market, I could use that money to buy a safe company like Apple. Let's say if Apple dropped to $100. I would throw a lot of money into Apple because I believe in the long term, Apple will double my money eventually. So even at $150, still pretty good evaluation for Apple. I would definitely be a buyer at Apple at $150. It's very close. It's $178. It's just 28 more dollars to go before it hits 150, which is a total possibility. I'm just saying, I would be a very big bull on Aurora if there was not so much fear in the market right now, and I just want to have some cash on the side. That's why I've been selling off some of my Aurora stock. So let's continue the video.
We talked about earlier, because we've got 3 market segments that we're selling into right now, and the demand is powerful in all of them. We've got nearly 70,000 registered patients in the Canadian medical system, and we have to meet their needs. And we've also been making sure that we have a diversity of products on our menu at all times so that their needs can be met. We've got the Canadian consumer system, we've got our partners, the provinces and the retail systems, and we need to supply them and make sure that those systems work as well as possible. And I want to circle back and deal with some of the criticism that the provinces have taken, because I think it's out of line, and remind me about that. And then the third market segment that we're serving, obviously, is our growing number of international markets. We don't favor the second two over the first. The first is our greatest responsibility, our registered patients. That's a matter of trust, and we have to meet their needs first. Second and third, the consumer market and the international medical markets, we're trying to do a very, very good and wise job of product allocation to make sure that nobody is let down.
Okay.
Now, we were going to come back and talk about the criticism of the provinces, and I think it is out of line because, as I've been saying for several months...
We've been criticizing the provinces rather egregiously ourselves.
Well, you know what?
Well, just this province. This is the one where we have...
Everybody's looking for... in the media, they say they don't report the planes that land, right? Meaning everybody's always, looking for the anomaly, and that would be bad news. I don't think that there's any bad news here. I think that the provinces are doing a pretty darn good job of putting together a hurry-up concept with respect to their respective retail systems. It will take some time to adjust, and it's to be anticipated that there will be some bumps in the road when you are launching a nationwide, very complex new system with 13 different jurisdictions and a whole lot of SKUs.
You bet. All right, Cam. Well, we could go on forever, but our time is up. And thank you once again for joining me. That was great.
Okay, yeah, that was the interview with Cam Batley. I mean, honestly, I want to be more bullish on Aurora. I want to say Aurora is going back to like $11 US in the short term. No, I don't think so, but I think near the next earnings report, I think these stocks will start rallying back to, $10 US, possibly 12. But in the short term, I think the stock will go down to possibly $5 US, was, or even like $4.10. But I don't think so. I think $5-ish US is probably the lowest I think it'll go. It could go lower, but I don't know. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, the market won't crash. Maybe Aurora will rally back to like $10 US and, everything's all good. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it's going to work. But at the end of the day, I don't know for sure. I don't know exactly for sure. If I knew for sure what exactly was going to happen, I would sell out all my stock. I would be waiting for that price point to hit, but I don't know for sure. So I don't know if the stock price will hit, $5 US. It might just hover around $6 US, maybe like $5.50 US to $6.50 US for a while. But I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna be hedging my bet and trying to make sure, I get a good opportunity to buy some buy stock at a very good price, a very good evaluation, because I do plan to add to my Aurora stock if it hits a certain price point. If you were a member, you would know exactly when I buy, how much I buy, at what price I buy. Every single buy and sell I make, I keep you guys updated. Today, I guess I'll show you guys. I did a bunch of selling today because I'm still in a bear mode, else I wouldn't do as much selling. So I sold because I think these stocks are going to be very volatile, and I think we're in a bear market. So I just took what kind of winnings I have. I sold off some new age beverages at $3.99 today because I was like, I don't know, I was scared of the market, and I was like, I needed some US dollars because I already threw most of it into acreage holdings, and I wanted more US dollars just in case new age beverages tanks all the way down to back to $3, and acreage holdings tanks all the way back to the low $20, possibly $19. That's when I think I'm going to be adding more to acreage holdings. So that's and you can't buy acreage holdings with Canadian dollars. You have to buy it with US dollars. So that's a little funny, a little bit weird, but that's the first time I've ever came across it. But acreage holdings is one of my top picks for when the US becomes very legal, which I think will eventually happen. So anyways, this video has been long enough. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, please give me a thumbs down. Holy shit, 30 minutes. Subscribe for future updates and have a great day. Bye.